So let's get into our router. So first we're gonna do is to go into our enable mode, and now you notice it didn't prompt us for any password as our router is clean. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is try to see if we could connect to our TFTP server to get our files. So we're gonna go copy TFTP startup config, and it's gonna ask us for the address of the remote host. So we're gonna enter in 192.168.2.2. Source file name. Okay, what was the name of our file? Okay, I don't remember, so let's check it out. My computers, local disk E, as that is where I'm running my TFTP server from, and our file name is startup config. So this is basically the configuration file for our router, and as we see, it's only 1 kilobyte in size. So startup config. So our file name is startup config. Enter. Yes, we do want it to overwrite the current startup config. And we have error open in TFTP. Not enough space. Now, basically, we have a problem here, and I know what the problem is. So let's go ahead and see what the problem is. So first thing, let's look at our current configuration. So we're going to enter in show RU. And notice we have no IP address assigned to our Ethernet interface. So there we have it, our problem. So what we need to do is to basically assign an IP address to our Ethernet interface. And the way we do this is that we're going to enter into what we call global configuration, and we do this by entering in the command config t. Now we're in global configuration. Now we need to specify that we want to configure our Ethernet interface. So because our router has both Ethernet and serial interfaces, we need to specify. So we're going to go in and say interface fast Ethernet, and our Ethernet interface is now selected. We're going to enter in the command IP address, and the IP address we're going to assign to this interface is 192.168.2.1 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0, which is our typical Class C subnet mask. Now, what we need to do is to bring our Ethernet interface alive. So we're going to enter in the command no shut, which is short for no shutdown. Alright, now it says that our Ethernet interface, the status changed to up. So now we have basically assigned our IP address and basically turned on our Ethernet port. So what we're going to do is to exit out of global config, and we do this by hitting Control Z on our keyboard. And now let's look at our current configuration. So let's enter in show RU, and now we see that our Ethernet interface now has the IP address 192.168.2.1. So now let's see if we could go out and contact our TFTP server now that we have a proper IP address and a proper subnet mask. So we're going to enter in the command copy TFTP startup config, and because we had previously entered in the address for the remote host, it remembers that, so we're going to say, yep, that's the guy we're looking for, and the file is the startup config, and we do want it to overwrite our current startup config. So let's see if we will be experiencing any problems. Okay, and now we have contacted our TFTP server, and we have copied our startup config. So there we go. Now we need to basically test it. So what we're going to do is to restart our router by entering the command let's get on the new line, reload, confirm, and what's going to happen is that our router once again is going to be rebooted. Alright, so there we have it. Important points to note when you're doing your backup. Ensure that you have the correct address of your your TFTP server, and also you need to ensure that after you have erased your startup config and taken your reboot, that you assign your Ethernet interface the correct IP address. Once you have that, you should basically have no problem connecting to your TFTP server and restoring your configuration from backup. Alright, so our router is almost done rebooting. Okay, so it's thinking about it, and there we go. So now let's go in, and there we have it. So let's go into our privilege mode. So let's enter in enable, and now that our configuration has been restored, there it is prompting me for my password. So let's enter in our password. We're back into CageNR Lab. Let's look at our startup config. So let's enter in show startup config. And there we go. All the settings we had before. My ultra secure password of Cisco. And basically, because this is my startup config, it's basically the same as what is running. And so there you have it. I do hope that this video was informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing. Bye.